Hi everybody, welcome to Staff Thoughts by Rita and welcome to today's stream. I'm going to talk about the dark, edgy, moody aesthetic and I'm going to talk about how you can adapt it based on your style and your art. I'm going to show some example outfits for each archetype and I'm going to talk about why I picked them out, and I'm going to answer any of your thoughts or questions about this aesthetic or how you as a person can apply it. I'm super excited. These aesthetics streams, they're a lot of work for me to prepare, but they're also so much fun. So I'm really excited, and thank you for being here with me. So, okay, as you know, or maybe you don't know, but I have made a video actually for you about this aesthetic. So I've made a video where you can see kind of what is this aesthetic all about. And so I'm not going to summarize it too much in this live stream. Just want to say, to me, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's all of the things that are on the moody, edgy, and dark side. And I like these multiple adjectives because I think that the different adjectives touch upon slightly different things. And I think that we can talk a little bit about that as we look at the aesthetic. But, it basically looks like this. It's like dark colors. It's, mysterious shapes. It's a little bit edgy, a little bit cool, a little bit tough things. Hi, Serena. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Hi, Josephine. So that's the aesthetic. That's how it looks like. And the main question is how do I make this mine? Because I feel like often the case is we see photos and we're like, oh, this is so cool. But it's a bit unclear exactly how to adapt it to our own needs. And I do think that the style key provides you a really good framework for understanding what your needs are in relation to both your style key and archetype. So that's why I'm going to give you these examples. I'm going to talk about, I have these 4 quadrants, right? And each one I have 5 archetypes. So I'm going to go through them one by one. It takes a bit of time. If you're new to the stream, watch the video, visit our website so you can learn about the style system, and then check out our Pinterest because you can see lots more visual examples. And I feel like that can give you a really nice little intro. And also, before we get into it, I have to say, these are examples. You might not like them. I have to choose 3 photos for each archetype. I cannot possibly choose something that suits every type of person and body shape and coloring. And I'm sorry about that. But if you're feeling like the examples aren't what you want, but you would really like an archetype for yourself, it's not you that's wrong. It's just the examples can't work for everybody. Also, though, it's not just a photo. So even if you don't like a particular outfit or the outfits I've chosen can be really nice just to listen to what I'm saying about them and why. Because in the style key, a lot of what we do is the why do we do things rather than just the what. And then, yeah, just to reiterate, it's really okay. It's also okay if you like the outfits that are not for you, because again, these are just examples. And I think there is a lot of crossover. I think even in the Pinterest, you can see I pinned some of the outfits on multiple archetypes, keys, whatever, because ultimately these are all visual inspirations on the same aesthetic. It's 100% humanly normal for you to enjoy some things that aren't yours. So again, don't let that kind of spin you into a tizzy. Just take what you like and move on. Hi, Daniela. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for coming. These are my favorite streams. And I'm so tired. I'm having a really tough week. So I'm really excited to do the stream to cheer me up. So, okay, we're going to start out with the write down the Moonstone key. So I just want to say a little bit about the aesthetic in general for the style key before I go into the examples. And look, here's the thing. I think for the Moonstone, in some ways, the edgy, dark, moody, it can feel a little bit antithetical to you sometimes because, you don't like things that are too disheveled and too out there and too edgy and too cool. It can often feel like you're kind of trying hard with these things. But at the same time, I really don't think you can't pull this off. And I think sometimes if you're feeling oh, I like these things, then I would really like to wear them. And I think they would make me feel cool and special and interesting and fun. But, I just can't. It probably means you're a bit in this, trapped in the Ice Queen Frosty thing where you're not allowed to have this thing you want. So it's really about figuring out, okay, what do I like about it and how can I actually adapt the visual inspiration I have to work for me? So again, if you're feeling drawn to the aesthetic, but you're I can't do it. You can. It's just about finding how to do it for yourself. Okay, so that's my big pep talk. On the other hand, though, if you're just I'm really not edgy, dark, and moody, Rita, you don't have to be that. Nobody has to be that. I'm not edgy, dark, or moody. That's fine. It's not a problem. Okay. But if you do want it, so I have the suggestions for you. So we're going to start talking with the Explorer. As you know, I often refer to the Explorer as like the left down of the right down quadrant. I feel like you are the people that have the easiest time really doing the Edgy Moody aesthetic. So here are just like 3 of my visual suggestions. So first one, I feel like this one, it's like very cool. I like the kind of the plaid pants, and I like that at the same time it has this kind of like put togetherness feeling, you know what I mean? Because you have like the belt, and I feel like this person, she's really chosen the to be kind of like that perfect length and fit, and they're perfectly loose over the hip, and then they're kind of like cuffed up. So I feel like the look, do you know what I mean? It has this like cool edginess because of the classic like black and white color scheme, like in the tough denim jacket and, you know, the cool plaid and the Converse. But at the same time, it has this kind of like put togetherness. And then again, as with all these outfits, I think what's nice for the Explorer is always to think about how you can remix and rematch all of your pieces, right? So that's, I try to also choose outfits that are kind of based on things that could be worn in a non-moody, edgy, and dark way if you wanted that, right? So here it's like we're basically taking a very classic combo, which is like a pair of shorts and a sweater, and then because you're adding these like really cool edgy boots and the black tights are doing this really intense contrast with the light denim shorts, I feel like that gives it a very like edgy vibe. Even though, again, like, you know, maybe the upper half of the outfit, you could just wear this with jeans and then it would just be kind of like, I don't know, nice. It wouldn't be like, I mean, like professional because it's a black blazer. It wouldn't have this like edgy feeling. So really the edgy feeling is kind of created by matching this very like, this like intense color combo and the very stompy boots. But then the rest of the outfit, a little bit elegant even. Okay. And on the right, I like this very moody, cool kimono jacket. And I like it because you just kind of throw it on and it's like, boom, you have the whole match. You have the whole like edgy, cool outfit. Sorry, I'm like adjusting the screen. I feel like this looks better. You have the whole like edgy, cool outfit, but really all it takes is that one statement piece. So it can be nice. It's like if you have some, if you're really wanting to bring in this like, if you want to explore this kind of like edgy or cooler side of yourself, it could be nice to get something that is like a statement piece that you can remix with a lot of your different basics to create the effect. Okay. So that's the Explorer. Now we're going to talk about the Illuminatrix. So the Illuminatrix, she's quite close to the center. I feel like this is, again, like this is the side where I feel like it's easier for you to do the edgy, dark, cool stuff. So for the Illuminatrix, the basic goal, right, is always like the style that just like makes you happy. And most of the time, the style that makes you happy is something that's a bit more visually expressive and creative, right? You like things. So that's why I chose something like here in the middle where you have this like pattern mixing and this fun little hat and the shiny shoes. Like it's a very visually expressive outfit. And maybe even when you look at this inspo, you're like, oh my God, Rita, like this is a lot going on. But I think for you, when you're, for the Illuminatrix, if you're going to do the dark, edgy stuff, I think you want it to contain lots of visual interest because you want it to be kind of like fun and playful so it doesn't feel too harsh, if that makes sense. Because I think like that's a bit what you want to avoid with the Illuminatrix is feeling like the cool edgy thing is going over into the too harsh thing, right? So here we have kind of like this dark, moody floral. And then I found an outfit where you have this like this kind of slouchy jacket, and then you have this fun yellow bag. So it's not really like a goth girl outfit, but it definitely has that moody vibe. And here on the right, also similar thing, right? It's like black and white. Ooh, that's like a cool edgy color scheme. But the dress, I think, is like little polka dot. So it has this little touch of like softness, I think, that maybe a lot of the times you crave. So, okay, that's the Illuminatrix. Then I talk about the Gentle Grace. So she's up here, kind of in the right up corner. And the main thing with the Gentle Grace, right, is that you do like for things to be very put together. And yeah, more on the expressive side, but definitely very put together. So I feel like the edgy part where it's like things are kind of like, oh, like undone and like, oh, I don't care. Like this, it just doesn't really work that well for you. But I feel like taking the, I don't know, taking like elements and using them is really good, right? So here I took, again, this like moody floral and this dark color where it gives you this kind of, oh, I think like a bit of a moody feel, but it's kind of like a traditional silhouette, right? The cardigan with the midi skirt, these kind of like ankle boots. It's all, I chose a lot of like, I'm going to say like timeless silhouettes. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's a really easy way for you to bring in that moody, edgy, dark vibe without feeling like you're losing yourself, right? So here again, you've got the jeans you love, that's easy, the striped shirt, and then you just pop this like leather jacket and a cool bag over it. You could make this edgier, right, with like some sunglasses, or you could wear like boots, right, that are chunkier if you want more like edgy vibe, right? Or you could try, yeah, different type of t-shirt. But again, like just taking kind of a classic outfit formula and using kind of the edgy vibe. And then also just like the dark vibe. I feel like all black, if you do like that, it's very mysterious, very chic, sophisticated. So again, it doesn't have to be this super like rebel punk girl thing for you to lean into like the moody darkness. I hope that makes sense. Let's talk about the sweetheart. So she's over here in the downright corner. Funny because the name sweetheart, right? It really implies somebody who's like so nice. And I say it in that voice because I think sometimes for the sweetheart, like people are just like, yeah, but you know what? I really like for my clothes just to be really nice and really pretty. And I don't want this kind of like edgy coolness, but it feels like when you look at other people and they have that, then it's like, oh, but I should be that. So I think it's nice to really think about, do you actually want this or not? And then obviously if you do, you can make it yours. So I have on the left, I have the suggestion. You can see it's kind of similar to what I was showing for the Explorer, right? Where you have this items that are just like part of your wardrobe, right? Like black t-shirt, like kind of a little bit like light wash denim, like Chuck Taylor's, like a black Taylor bag, like a black belt. But you just put it all together into this outfit to give it that kind of like cool and edgy vibe, even though all of those pieces can be kind of remixed into your other styles of outfits. And I know this outfit is very understated. It's just like, oh, it's a black t-shirt. But I really want to invite you, especially if you're using the sweetheart archetype, to like connect with the kind of like delicate essence you have and think about like, okay, but if a black t-shirt and like the black sneakers is what makes you feel like you're doing like a cool edgy look, why do you need to do more? Like, you know, you don't need to do something much more extravagant that's going to feel uncomfortable for you just to like prove that you're doing it right, you know? So that's why I want to invite you to just like let that go. As with the gentle grace, I like the idea of just like exploring an all black outfit and seeing what does that feel like for you, but then exploring it through, I don't know, it's more like classic, I don't know, elegant shape of tech. I think this is just like a sweater dress. It's pretty. And then she's belting it and she has these kind of sleek ankle boots and this kind of elegant purse, right? But I like that because it's giving you that taste of the all black without necessarily, I don't know, just taking you anywhere you don't want to go. And it is the same idea on the right? Have these kind of like moody florals with a lot of black, so it gives you this kind of like edginess without feeling like it's costumey and going too far. And the last one, we have the main character, Popular Girl. So you're right in the center of the Moonstone quadrant, and what's important for you, right, is to choose styling that really helps you feel confident and special and important and just like really makes you feel good. So I kind of showed you a whole big range of what you can do because it really depends on how much you want to go with it. So this is kind of my like minimal edgy side for the main character, right? You just have this dark color scheme, you have the boots, and you have this kind of slouchy sweater. So it's a little bit edgy, but not super out there. In the middle, like again, as I've been showing, you can kind of see it's like a consistent Moonstone theme. I'm taking just kind of like, oh, it's like tailored pants. It's a nice jacket. But because everything is in this black and white color scheme, it feels kind of edgy and cool without, feeling like too far out of your comfort zone. And this outfit is more like outside the comfort zone. I feel like it's loud and it's really fun because you have the really cool plaid pants and you have a print on the shirt. I like that she has the hat, the sunglasses. You don't have to have everything like that. But I just wanted to kind of show you the spectrum of where you can go. And again, like I think what's important is that I'm kind of being consistent with the whole like moody dark style dictionary here, right? You have these dark colors or these kind of like edgy patterns and details, but at the same time, keeping the look kind of like clean, I guess is like the best, like kind of like clean lines, right? And instead of, I don't like sneakers. I don't always love sneakers, right? Obviously, you could just wear this with like some sort of a black loafer or a black ankle boot or a black chunky boot, like whatever is fine. Although I know a lot of people really love Chuck Taylors. I feel like they just really go in and out of style. Okay, so that's the end of the Moonstone. If you want some more info, you can visit our Pinterest board. You can also download the archetype guide. I'm going to link it below. That's the Moonstone. And I think I can do the write up Sapphire next, unless people have strong opinions or questions or thoughts. Okay, I'll do the write up Sapphire. So my kind of pep talk for you with the write up Sapphire is that I think that the edginess is great for you to expressing your personal power, like, you know, all black or these black and white elements, these kind of powerful accessories. It all is very assertive visually. So I think that can be really nice to connect with if you want that. And black, I feel like, can be very protective as a color. You know, if you're drawn to black, I feel like it's a nice color in a lot of ways. And I feel like, you know, it's very like mysterious and yeah, powerful. So I feel like it could be really nice to lean into these explorations. The only aspect on like the edgy, moody, dark stuff I don't think works that well for Sapphire is anything that feels like it connects to this like, oh, like I don't care what you think about how I look, and like kind of putting things together that are maybe a little bit, you know, meant to be like eclectic and a little bit chaotic combos, or just, you know, kind of like the torn tights or something. I feel like those types of things are just harder for you to pull off. Not, again, like not because like Rita says and it's illegal, but just because it's kind of antithetical to the essence of you wanting to have things that are more polished and put together and intentional. Hi, Kristen. We're talking about the Sapphire Moody, right? Okay. So you're gonna start with the Princess Playful Dame. So you're like over here, you're far on the right, you're just a bit over the top. As you've noticed so far, I think for all the very rightist archetypes, this kind of aesthetic is just the most challenging. I think like ultimately, yeah, that's just a part of the style map that has the hardest time with this aesthetic, but I still have suggestions for you. So as you can see, I'm kind of leaning into similar suggestions as what I gave to the Gentle Grace, where I'm like, let's take some kind of like silhouettes, outfit ideas that you like, and then just kind of put edgy, moody, dark themes on them. I think like the big theme for all the outfits is they're very visually cohesive, right? Everything is really like going together. I like this, right? You have this distressed gray skirt and this like kind of distressed floral print and like the cool denim jacket. But there's still these like touches on with the rightness, right? With I feel like it is very, very cohesive. You have these like silver shoes and the hair is very sleek, right? And there's like very minimal earrings. So I feel like even though the look is very cool, you know what I'm saying? It has a bit of that like maybe refinement, the put togetherness that she wants. And the same here, right? So we're taking this dark floral that I feel like is very good for the moodiness. But yeah, the look is just, I don't know. It's like, you know, you have visual interest in the shoes and the bag, and, you know, the blouse is kind of making a statement. But again, just like not trying too hard to be as edgy and as moody as some of the others. And here, I really like this look. I think this is so pretty. This really made me think on like the playful dame archetype, right? When I'm often talking about the playful dame is to think about how you're really able to show the world and yourself that just because something is more up and more glamorous, more extravagant, more dramatic, doesn't mean it's like serious and heavy and oppressive, right? And I feel like for you, using the playful dame archetype, especially using these moody, edgy, cool elements can be a fun way to like add that touch of playfulness and fun and lightness to the look, right? So here she has the like a blazer and, you know, like loafers and a structured bag, and everything is like a very matchy. You know, there's this like kind of circle of the half moon earrings are really matching with the bag, right? But I feel like the pattern is kind of what's giving it, I don't know. I hope you see what I'm saying. I just feel like it has a little bit of a playful vibe rather than an overly serious vibe. AM says, I think Alexa Chung is a good example for Write Up Edgy. Definitely. She is such a good example. I love her outfits, and I like that she is like trending again. I think that's funny. And Logan is saying, curious to see how edgy, dark, moody can combine with radiant, luminous, dreamy. I mean, the thing is, if you've never been able to make dark, moody, edgy work for you, it's maybe just not you. And this is true not just for Sapphires, but for everybody. I mean, it's just like a specific look. Like, I really am not dark, edgy, or moody, and this type of clothing is just not correct on me. Like, not correct in like a textbook, which is not right. It doesn't look right, doesn't feel right. It's just like awkward. But I mean, my close collaborator, Nikki, the style teller, she's using the Sapphire key, and I think she's very moody, dark, and a little bit edgy, mostly moody and dark, you know? So I think it's a bit about your personality also. So I feel like if you have a very dreamy and moody animation, Lucy Boynton, she's a celebrity example who I really like. I think she has a great dark whimsy, kind of a dark fantasy, dreamy, right up, moody, edgy style. So you could definitely look at that for inspo. I think it's really nice. A lot of good inspo. Okay, now we're going to talk about the role model. So the role model, she's like the closest to the center, right? And her idea is just like, I don't know, I want to set the bar where I want it to be. I want it just to be a little bit more extra than a normal person. And so for you, I feel like this is probably the archetype that can most take inspo from the Alexa Chungs of the world. Not that I don't think that's where Alexa I don't know. I don't want to say what she's right now. I don't remember where I put her. But this is like, you know what I'm saying? It's again like, okay, everything is a little bit put together. I like this outfit, for example, right? Because the pants, they have like leather and they just look, I don't know, fancy. That's like the best word I can say, right? And the sweatshirt, it's just tucked very precisely. There's this big necklace. So the outfit just looks kind of dressy. I think that's like what you like to kind of balance off this like the edgy element, right? And yeah, I like this outfit because I feel like this is like a very casual look in a way. And it's just, I wanted to put that in just to remind you that just because you're using this Sapphire key doesn't mean you need to be like, I don't know, like wearing a suit all the time. Because I think in some ways this is a outfit that has, you know, the mystery of the upness and a bit of like, I don't know, the glamour. So don't overcomplicate it was my message for the role model. It's just like lean into the edgy elements you like, but then strive to create an outfit that feels like cohesive and polished and intentional, and then you're good to go. Okay, and next for the power. So the power, you're like super up and you're just like a little bit to the right. And I always say the power is very like left curious. So I feel like you probably resonate a lot with a lot of the just general like moody, dark, you know, really cool imagery. And I just want to say, like, go for it. You know, when I was talking about how for Sapphire, the moody, edgy, dark aesthetic can be a great way to explore your personal power. And it's like a very visually assertive. I'm especially speaking to you because you know, you like to kind of take space and to wear things that are a little bit more striking and dramatic than other people. So it's like use the dark, edgy elements for that. Okay, on the left, I like this outfit because like Houndstooth is not really like dark, edgy, moody. It's a bit more like refined and classic, I guess. But I like it because you're taking this whole like all black outfit and there's this like long coat and there's the heels and this. I just feel like this lady, she looks, I don't know, quite like imposing and mysterious. And I like that. Here in the middle, I chose this outfit as more of like, you know, the moody. I like it. There's a lot of depth and complexity, right, to the skirt, the shimmery top. I mean, you might feel like this is like an extremely formal outfit. I think it can become a lot less formal if you swap out the boots for just like a different type of shoe. I think in general, anytime the boot covers the shoe, that feels a lot more formal. It doesn't need to be this formal for you. I just really like it because it's so very like high effort, right? It's so obviously coordinated everything. And I really like that for you. It's just to encourage you to take the moody motifs and then build this very like high intensity, intentional outfit around them, right? So if I was the power, I'd probably like, I could probably make what she's wearing like with this type of top. That would be so cute for me, but I'm not that. Okay, and then here on the right, it's like, I think a lot of times the moody edginess for you can be a great gateway to the sexiness aspect. So I like the sheer black top here. It's, I don't know, just something about moody, edgy unlocks a bit your sensual side. So that's just my invitation, is to think about how you can use those things together, right? So on the left, we have a bit more like intimidating example. On the right, the more sexy thing. And in the middle, the moody thing. So those are my suggestions for you. And now for the priestess. So the priestess, you're like way up in the right up. And the main thing for you, right, is you're always using style as this representation of your values, your personhood, whatever. So obviously the moody, dark, edgy stuff works for some priestess people who are moody, dark, edgy, and kind of in a moody, dark, edgy thing. The main thing, okay, I know they're all wearing skirts, you guys, and I always think it's so self-conscious. You don't have to wear a skirt. I just like these examples. We could pretend that, you know, she could easily be wearing like pants here. But I definitely think with the priestess, your strength is like your ability to be so overdressed. So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, I can't, like you could probably wear this or a very like a slightly, you know, more relaxed variation of this and nobody would say anything because it's just that's like it's just what you do. So I think always thinking about like what are the elements I like in the moody, edgy, dark stuff and then going for it, like kind of fully do this cohesive look. And again, like I think cleaner lines is nice, right? But then maybe playing with some accessories. I like the kind of fur collar here. I feel like this is like very drama, very mysterious. I like this. This is more like kind of chic polish. And this is like, oh, this is like very edgy. But I'm thinking about like specific people I know using the priestess archetype where I'm like, oh, this would be like relevant for her where she has kind of a cool space in the world. So thinking about, yeah, that, you know, it makes sense for who and where you are. I don't think like every person using this archetype could wear these outfits. Okay, and now we have the icon. So the icon's right in the middle. This one is hard for me. So with the icon, I always say like out of place, out of time, right? I feel like what you do best is you kind of mishmash a lot of different like elements and styles to really help you create a style that visually represents who you are in the world. So I think a lot of times icon people, they do find you're drawn to these kind of like vintagey styles. So I like this one for you. This is cute, right? Kind of like vintage / edgy. I like the skull print. And then obviously she has like the hair thing and the makeup and, you know, everything in the middle. I like this. This is like very moody, but super like diva style. And on the right, like glam and edgy. And so like just over the top. So like unapologetic over the top. Obviously this is for like a, you know, going out occasion. This person is going to something special. I'm not saying if you're the icon, you have to wear this every day. I'm just showing the things you can do. Okay, so that's it for sapphires. If you want more information, you can visit the Pinterest board. Again, I'm not like, I don't think like every example there is my, I don't know, but like I think you can understand some things by browsing it, and then you can get the archetype guide below. And Margaret says, I'm a sapphire with spring coloring. Black and edgy doesn't work, but I like hearing you talk about all the quadrants. Oh, I like that. Oh no, I'm sorry, you missed the Moonstone. Yeah, it was the first one, so can catch the recording after we're done. Yeah, well, I also think it's really fun to look at all these different aesthetics, even if we don't wear them, because it's like easier to understand the difference between people when you can, yeah, when everybody's kind of trying to create the same effect rather than comparing completely different outfits to each other. Okay, now we're going to talk about Left and Ruby. So I feel like for a lot of people, like edgy, moody, dark, those are just like, oh, it's like so Ruby. It's like so obvious. So, you know, if you're not that person, you don't have to be that person. I'm just letting you know. But if you are that person, you know, you can lean into it. You can probably get away with really cool stuff. So Spicy Girl Next Door, right? So you're down here on the bottom. You're just a little bit to the left. What you want really always is to feel the sense of kind of like freedom, and then you really do want some sort of that like twist, and the edginess is a great way for you to bring in that twist. Like so many rubies and the Spicy Girls especially just tell me like unprompted, they're like, oh, I really want just to have like this edge in my style. So you can watch my video about the edgy dark aesthetic, and just like I have, you know, all of these infinite ideas, right, for how you can do edgy, right? So here, okay, it's just like it's a cool skirt, the black top, right? So you're using the dark colors. There's the boots. There's this kind of like contrast between the sock and the shoe, and that's adding this like edginess. I really like this really wide, deep neckline here at this bit of a dressier outfit. I like it because it's very, very sensual and glamorous, while at the same time being more relaxed. You don't have, if you don't like the sneakers, you could totally wear a more like matchy shoe. You don't have to. I think the outfit is really, really nice as is. And I love how the necklace brings like even more attention to the neckline, but then at the same time, she like covers up the eyes. So it's a great look. And on the right, I feel like the smallest thing can be great. So like distressed denim, always just like a great vibe. All the dark stuff that can be moody enough. So I wanted to show you a bit more of a glamour option and a very subtle option and kind of like a middle option. Hi, Nikki. Thanks for coming. Okay, now we're gonna go to the outsider. Outsider is all the way to left, all the way down. You're really like embodying the most self-focused dressing. So it's really about what is helping you feel the moodiness, the edginess, what helps you feel kind of protected with the clothes. I always get so nervous showing outsider outfits because I feel like you guys are the ones that like examples the least and always are like, oh, whatever. So I'm sorry if you don't like it. Okay, so what did I find? I love the idea of this white and black t-shirt layered together. I feel like this has not been in for a while, so I suspect it's gonna like come back in because it's actually really comfy and cute. But the reason I picked it out was because I feel like this type of layering can be really nice. I feel like you just like to get wrapped up in things. And again, I like the kind of the contrast between the light denim and the black and the white and the black. This contrast I feel like is just very cool. On the right here, I mean, I realize these outfits are so similar, but I was just thinking about things that are like super enveloping because I feel like for you, a lot of the times, the edgy, moody stuff can really be related to wanting to kind of get wrapped up in things. And then, I don't know, sorry, I had a third picture that it's the outside or whatever. But I like this one because she has the sunglasses on and she has like this like loose sweater and she has the shoes. I feel like it's really like, don't look at me. Which is a big story, of course, with the whole like dark edgy aesthetic. And here I like it because I feel like the boots don't really match the dress, and I like that like intentional clashing. I felt it was really nice. And I also really like the shape of the sleeves. I felt like it was just very surprising with the short sleeve sweater and the dress underneath, and I really like it. Okay, and next up we have the cool girl, so you're right in the middle, and I feel like the cool girl, yeah, you're always like, oh, am I cool, am I cool? I think you're very cool, and the most important thing is just to choose the things you like that give you confidence. So again, I gave you, as you can see that as a theme in all of my left-out examples, I give you kind of a range, right? So I give you this kind of like most glam you version. So do like a slip dress and this kind of fitted turtleneck underneath, so you're not super exposed, this kind of red and black color scheme, very, very moody, very mysterious, and really playing up, you have so many accessories on, the sunglasses, the necklace, the belt, like there's a lot going on, but I feel like this is great for you because it can come across as like easy anyway. In the left, this is more like your I'm hiding from the world outfit, right? So it's like bucket hat and this like big sweater and the pants are like covering the shoes and the shoes are so big, so I like it. It's just a very like hiding away outfit, but at the same time like the whiteness, I like the white juxtaposition. And on the left, this is like, I don't know, sensual, understated, fun. You have this, very short skirt and it has a slit, but then you have this like boxy thick jacket, these big boots. So I feel like it's a good example of just balancing showing and hiding through the use of these sensual, dark, moody elements. Okay, next we have the wildflower. So she's up here in the left top corner. And I did choose very, very expressive outfits for the wildflower. If you're looking at these and you're like, oh, Rita, I don't like these. This is too much for me. You can just like use the examples from any of the other archetypes in the Ruby. I just wanted for this archetypes, I wanted for this aesthetic specifically, just to show you the really, really fun styles that are very eclectic, because I do feel like you can pull it off, and I want to encourage you to try it out and see if you like it. So that's why instead of showing you this range of like, just a little or a lot, I'm just like, oh, look at all this stuff. Look at many of the things coming together, right? So we have like a hat and checked pants and it's like colors and, like the graphic print shirt with the leopard. And, so I feel like just my encouragement to the wildflower is always like, let yourself have more, and it doesn't mean, you could dress like this one day and then go to something that feels like a lot more neutral and safe and comfortable another day. So, but, just like explore a bit your more expressive self and let that be in the focus. And then finally, we have the seductress, our glamour diva up the ruby key. So for you, what do I have? Okay, for you, I have some basic options. First of all, you have just like the very simple, like, oh, like elegant, ooh, like, but then you elegant body hugging dress, but then you kind of add this like edgy jacket and edgy boots that are kind of just like, just a little bit of like, oh, stay away. And then we have these two like much more visible options, right? Where you have this like super short red dress and she has these like high boots. But then you have like this big jacket that just like really hides you and really covers you up. So I like that. And on the right, I like this skirt because just the pattern is very intriguing and it's really highlighting obviously the shape of her body in a way I think is really beautiful. So that's nice. And again, I'm sorry, it was just an accident that these are all 3 skirts. She could be wearing pants. She could have little shorts on. It's not intentional. Okay, so that's the ruby. If you want more info, you look at the Pinterest or look at our archetype guide. Margaret says this helps her clarify which archetype she falls. I thought icon, but after seeing types of examples, I'm a priestess. Yeah, well, you know, postpartum life. Yeah, it's hard, but yeah, definitely the examples. I feel like even though we can never like conclude anything about ourselves from the examples, I feel like they do. It's not like, yeah, I feel like they can really help us. So I encourage you to do that. And Lauren says, my struggle is wearing a look adolescent. Tips. So I would say think about what are the things that you like about it. And then let me stop the share. So for adolescent stuff, first of all, okay, wait, I have so many advices. First of all, if you just want to think about like what do you worry looks adolescent versus what you actually don't like the way it looks. So in terms of worrying about like adolescent stuff, a lot of those worries, you can just like let them fly away like little birds who are unhelpful. Especially just, I mean, I think in the Stalky, a lot of times I'm just trying to encourage and reassure people to just do the thing that they really feel like doing. Because if you really are vibing and thriving in your outfit, like you are a great, you know, version of yourself and people like being around you and it's really, really good. So just like getting some concerns about how like, oh, it's not good enough, not serious enough, whatever, those just like, you know, concerns and they can just kind of fly away. So we can let them fly away maybe. But in terms of what you feel like, oh, here's this aesthetic and it doesn't really match me anymore because I feel like I am like, you know, like a serious like grown up like woman and I want to feel this like edgy cool stuff, but I also wanted to feel like serious and powerful like the adult beautiful person I am, then I would think about like, okay, how can we make it more grown up for you, right? So obviously things to me, I guess this is universal consensus, that things that are more structure often read as more serious. So I'm showing, for example, a lot of Converse all the time. You could swap out your Converse for like another type of like a black structured shoe, right? Black and white structured shoe. Any kind of like a structured shoe is a really easy fix. Instead of wearing like distressed jeans, you could just get a pair of like trousers, right? So if you like dark jeans, you could get a pair of just black flowy trousers that are maybe in a really nice fabric and that like kind of maintains the like aesthetic but gives you that more grown up feel and vibe, right? If you like the leather jacket aspect of it, maybe you can just upgrade your leather jacket to one that feels a little bit more cool and nice, or like swapping out something like if you like the graphic t-shirts, again, wearing them with like a nicer like sturdier, fancier cardigan or this like nicer jacket. Adding a belt to your jeans or pants just kind of gives it a bit more of that polish, right? And just so like the way you do your like hair and makeup and stuff could also add just a feeling of polish. So I think it was like lacy stuff is kind of moody, edgy, and dark without feeling very juvenile because most young people, they don't really like look that great in lace because it just, you know, like, I don't know, it's not their thing, I think. So those are all my tips for how to make it more adult and more serious, is just to take the stuff, you know, you like wearing and then think about like, okay, what is like the same thing, but just a little bit more grown up. Okay. And Anna says, I present very left. Only the Sapphire key works for me. Can person be refined and wild in a feline way? I don't know. I don't know you, so I can't really speak to that. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Okay, Lauren, I'm glad that helped you because yeah, it's a bit of a tricky issue for sure. But the main thing is just to like let yourself have a good time. And Dex says, my clothes are dark. How do I add interest and still be effortless? Pattern, I guess, is the easiest way to add interest while still being effortless. Shoes, like upgrading your daily shoe, it takes no effort to put on your daily shoe. So if you just like get some sort of more interesting shoe socks, you can do more like contrasting, like visually interesting socks, like everyday jewelry that doesn't feel fussy, right? Whatever jacket you have, right? Again, if you have like a go-to jacket you wear with everything, getting a cooler jacket. Because I'm thinking like a lot of the stuff that's like effort are basically like fussy details. So if you're not going to add a bunch of like little details, then you need to upgrade a bit like the kind of the big pieces that kind of wrap everything together, like the jacket or the shoes or, you know, that type of thing. Yeah. Or upgrade some of your daily stuff to just have more patterns on it, because I feel like that's always a lot more visually interesting. Or like texture, right? You can like layer maybe. You can like unbutton, have something underneath. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to talk about our last quadrant, which is Amethyst. Hooray. You also, I feel like edgy, dark, moody, it feels like, you know, for a lot of people, it feels very obvious. As I said with the ruby, if you're like using the amethyst key and you don't like edgy, dark, moody, you don't have to be edgy, dark, moody. This is not, if you look at my, for example, celebrity inspo, even though, you know, you might not be celebrity, there's lots of, you know, amethyst celebrities who are not like edgy, dark, moody. So don't put this on yourself that like, because you're there, you have to be this way. But if you are this way, like that's great. And then I have lots of suggestions for you, but you know, don't stress about it. So let's talk about the Muse trendsetter. So she's kind of close to the center. And what do I have for her? Okay, so I have this outfit. I thought this outfit was really fun. It's very, very playful. Look at this bag. It has like a face on it. And these sunglasses, they're so unusual. And then you're having this like checkerboard pattern. And I like it because it's like 3 colors. So I'm like, oh, this outfit, it's so visually interesting. But at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, it's a shirt with pants, you know? And I feel like this is a great visual inspo for Trendsetter Muse, is to think about like, how can I take like silhouettes that feel like low fuss? And then I'm just like, you know, make it fun and interesting for me. And then obviously, you can remix these things in many ways, right? So it doesn't have to be this outfit. On the other hand, my other suggestion for Muse Trendsetter is like always like sensual glamour, right? So give yourself the permission, okay, if you're living in Stockholm and it's winter, you're not gonna wear this right now, but you can wear it with tights. Maybe if you're going to a party, like let the things be like more scandalous than you think you are allowed to be, and use the dark, edgy moodiness as a way to kind of feel safe doing it, right? So I like the mesh top, the slit. Okay, and here I don't, as you notice, I don't usually do celebrity examples, but I just thought this was like so cute. I don't know why I love it so much. I feel like it's just such a Muse outfit for me because it's like this like random little scarf and this little like, I don't know, newsboy hat. It's just so like non-logical, but it like so works. So I got just really, really happy and I wanted to include it. And what I wanted to say was like, you don't need to become Vanessa Hudgens and recreate this outfit. What I'm trying to say is like, maybe looking at starting with kind of this like cool edgy base, and then you're like, oh, like, what about this like big yellow earring? It doesn't have to always make sense. You just do this stuff. Scandalous is such a good word. Okay, now we have the siren. So you're kind of like, you know, up there in the center, and, you know, you are a person who likes to provoke, or maybe you don't like to provoke, but you just provoke anyway. So obviously for you, I feel like the intensity of edgy, moody, and dark is good. And the whole just like being a little bit spooky visually is very, very good. I chose examples that are very visually interesting. You might be like, oh, like this is way too much that's going on here. Okay, but I wanted to, you know, I'm always trying to encourage you. So I get all 3 of them. They're these like big boots. Don't have to have such big boots, but I feel like it is nice to give you a boost. And then I'm like, you know, it's like, oh, it's a corset and the shirt is really coming out, and what's going on with her hair, right? And there's these fun, I don't know, like with the tights and the yellow sunglasses, and they match the skirt. Like I feel like basically I'm just having a lot of fun looking at these outfits, and I would feel like this person is quite intimidating to me with their style, but I like it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for often with my beautiful siren clients. And I'm just like, let people just be a little bit intimidated by you. That's nice for you. But also like, yeah, it's expressive and fun. Hufflepuff, yeah. Hey, Okay, now we have the Enigma. So Enigma, you're over here, you're way on the left, you're just a little bit up. So you love the edgy, and what are we gonna do for you? All right, oh yeah, I'm really pleased with these picks. So I'm gonna start in the middle because I give like a very minimal pick, right? It's like, oh, it's shorts and there's a little hat and the shorts. And you might be like, oh, but Rita, this is basically a down outfit. And I just want to remind you that, you know, a lot of my Enigma clients, you're so like ambivalent on the upness. You're like, oh, am I not? So, you know, you have usually just like, you have the up essence with the Enigma, it's okay. If you want to do something that feels a bit more chill, you're not like betraying yourself. So I wanted to include that as my encouragement and just a reminder that your essence will do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. On the right, this outfit is so much fun. It is hard to see, but she has boots up here. And then I think she has like socks here. And then she has like another pair of thigh-high socks. And this like giant black cardigan, as you can see. And I was like, so this is just like enveloping to the, do you know what I mean? So I felt this was like, very, very, the leftness is there because she's just, could she be like more wrapped up in anything? And then here on the left, I don't know, I just thought this was like very cute because it's kind of like, it reminds me a bit of the Muse outfits, right? Where it's like, everything is just visually interesting, right? There's like the hat and sunglasses and the print and the cool jacket and the cool pants and there's like shiny shoes and there's a bag and even the strap of the bag. So it's just a reminder that like, you know, you can be her and you can be her, and so just it's okay. And you can be her and you can relate to all kinds of visual inspiration, but the main thing for you really is just to give yourself the permission. Okay, Daniela says you're so ambivalent. Yeah, I mean, the Enigma on the left, the Princess Playful Dame on the right, you join hands over your like, but am I really up, you know? Do I have to do this? I mean, I'm not forcing you to do this. I'm just encouraging you to do it for your well-being. Okay, and then we have the Enchantress. So you're up here in the top left corner. And the Enchantress, to me, right, it's all about this like almost like compulsive desire to visually create your style as art, you know, so it's really beyond, style is not about function, really, it's just about doing stuff visually. So what about, sorry, I put 4 examples, but I like all of these. I think I couldn't decide. Okay, this one's like really crazy to me, right? So it's just very, very bold. I like this one with the like cat, yin and yang, and the fun shoes and the skirt and the bag. I liked it. This is like kind of like vampire goth. And then here I really like just, this is like, again, with the like enveloping rawness and these like shoes, they're so big. They're so absurd, I think. They're just, you don't have to have them if you're the Enchantress. I just meant like the reason I chose this outfit is because I'm like, wow, you're really like very, very enchanted by it. You're like, what's going on and who is this person, right? And I feel like that's true for all of them. You're just like, what's going on? Like this is so cool. You just feel very, very blessed to be in the presence of these outfits. And then for the Lady Heretic, so you're up here, just, you know, a little bit to the left, and the upness really is what matters to you. So kind of similar advice to what I was giving for the Sapphires, right, is that use the edgy darkness to assert yourself and to just like express your personal power. So what do I have for you? Oh yeah, okay. I'm like obsessed with this. I actually found this example for my soft natural video, but I'm like obsessed. Like, how high are the boots and how short is the dress? I just cannot stop obsessing over it. I love it. And I love how it's like, oh, it's just like it's like a striped dress and a pair of shoes and a bag. But like the simplicity, the outfit still such the upness, you know, and it's like, I think I just love the idea that her hemline is just like right above the shoe and it creates so much of that like sensuality. It's like, oh, what's going on? Then the middle is kind of like Vivienne Westwood inspo. I feel like this is a very obvious Lady Heretic, dark, edgy, moody, right? You like, again, stepping on people in a nice way. And on the right, this is like cozy, but like elevated. I feel like for you, elevated is a good word to use and to think about when you're going in the cozy, because you can sometimes fall into the trap of like, oh, but I'm going to be cozy now. I'm going to switch off my upness. But then you're like, oh, why do I feel so bad? Well, because, you know, you're not doing the thing that you need. So I kind of tried to find something that's like visually intense, but is cozy and comfortable. That's it. We're done. We have gone through it. 4 quadrants, 20 archetypes. What does it say? Oh yeah, just a reminder that I have the old money aesthetic and the playful eclectic aesthetic for each archetype. If you want to see more examples, and here to, I don't know, answer your questions or receive your musings and thoughts, just to chat a little bit about Edgy Moody, any Edgy Moody dark questions you have. I'm here to help you with them. Hope you enjoyed the stream. You're the enchantress. That's nice. We love to hear it. Good. Okay, I like that people are happy and they're having a good time with the stream. Yeah, I started this like Pinterest, and I don't think like it's impossible for me to like carefully hand select, you know, these every photo to perfection, but I'm really happy with what we put together. So you can also visit it if you want some more inspo. And again, I want to remind you what I said in the beginning, which if you like your archetype, but you don't like the examples I showed for it, it probably doesn't mean that you got your archetype wrong. It just probably means that like I just picked 3 photos that you don't like, which is totally normal, and it happens. On the other hand, if like every time you watch the stream, you're like, oh, I don't like the example she picked for this, and I don't like it, and I still don't like it. And not only do you not like the examples, but you don't like what I'm saying about it either, then maybe that's like a good hint that you're like, should reconsider a bit, if this makes sense. Okay, Dex says, any tips on color combos for do you mean like color combos for like dark, edgy, moody, or like in general? I think what I find right for the dark, edgy, moody is either like tones, right? So like purple on purple, like, you know, maroon on brown, like gray on black, right? So it kind of adds this, kind of pulls you in because they are like similar and dimensional, right? So you could do like a dark green with a dark blue, right? So something related. And then I think the other thing that's very like edgy to me is high color contrast. So you notice that in some examples I showed, like people, if they wear like black tights with like distressed light denim, right? This like, oh, that really pops. Or this like Wednesday Addams stripes, as I call it, right? Where you have like a bright blue with a dark black, for example, or like bright red with black. And that's why I think plaid can a lot of times read kind of edgy, even though itself that pattern isn't really edgy, because it has that like high color contrast. So I feel like that is that's what I would do if I wanted to go a bit more on the like edgy side. And on the moody side, I would go for like the flowing together colors. Leanna says, how to add more edge to cold winter outfit. It's hard. Like I'm actually making a little video on the winter styling, because it is hard when the winter, if your jacket and accessories are really not on theme, then your whole outfit just feels like it disappears while you're out and about. And for some people, they're not out that much, so it doesn't matter. But if you're out a lot, then you really want to consider how can you add the edginess to this most like outer layer of you. So if your jacket feels very like non-edgy and you don't have a moody, edgy jacket, then what you can do is you can play with the accessories, right? So you can get like the scarf and the hat and the gloves, maybe in a moody color or something like that. Like, yeah, this maybe like a dark red, or yeah, this really dark purple, or even black, right? That could be an option. The other thing is to think about like the boots, right? So what are you wearing in the winter? Because of course these like really stompy boots, as I like to call them, they are a great winter shoe. So something that's kind of like assertive and powerful in terms of the footwear is nice. But if the jacket, the accessories, and the shoes are all out, then I mean, it's just about what's underneath, in which case just everything we talked about, all you need to do is just add some under layers, right? I just wear regular stuff in the winter. I just layer some stuff under. Okay, and Laura is asking, hi Rita, which archetype will feel tougher and protected when wearing the dark edgy style? I mean, a lot of people, isn't that kind of why people wear it? Because it makes you feel powerful and confident. So I feel like that's a big draw, just that's a big part of the aesthetic. I talked about this in the video. I feel like there's kind of 2 dimensions to the aesthetic. One of those is just kind of like the empowerment, protection, like stay away from me vibes, right? Like don't mess with me, like I'm, don't come into my space kind of vibes. And then the other vibe is like I wear what I want and, doing things that are maybe, especially in certain areas, right? I mean, like alternative style has become a lot more mainstream, but I still feel like for a lot of people, there's this like, oh, like, wear that, and it's like, oh, like that's interesting, So I feel like it can be very just empowering to wear those things you like, even when people might have some commentary and criticism. So I feel like those are the two kind of big motivations behind the style for most people. It's just about how, we work with those intentions that really differs. And I also think clothes, they make us feel protected in different ways. So for people using the more upper archetypes, what really matters to you is to have these clothes that are a bit more intense visually, more stuff on you, more structured or tailored or something like that, or just, more visually interesting, because that's what makes you feel safe, is to have a lot of things going on visually. Whereas for people who have more maybe understated or delicate essence, then having so many things on you, it can instead make you feel really exposed. So, like if you were maybe the spicy girl next door and you're wearing some of these enchantress outfits, obviously you could wear it for like an event, right? That's one thing. But it's like if you wanted to wear the outfit on an everyday basis, it's not that it would look bad on you. It's just that you would be like, oh, like you would feel like you're receiving a lot of attention and just hyper visible. And so even though you have this like all this black, edgy, cool, tough stuff, you don't really feel very comfortable or safe, because it's just feeling like the clothes are way louder than you feel comfortable being. Yeah, black chunky platform boots, they do feel so safe. I think it's like, I don't know, it's so mysterious to me, but because I'm not like a body, I don't practitioner, like I don't know anything about these things, but I do feel like there is something about like our energetic points on the body when it comes to clothes, right? So like the feet and our wrists and like the neck and the top of the head, and I don't know, maybe somewhere else, right? Maybe like the midriff, something like that, right? Where it's like where we can put things to create the sense of protection or also mystery, right? So I do think hats a lot of the time are just like an easy go-to recommendation to add some sort of like mystery and vibe, because it's like, I don't know, just right? Or wearing like this like heavy bracelet on your wrist is a good way to kind of wrap it up, or having like longer sleeves that are hiding the wrist, right? So I do think there's something kind of very physical about how we experience what parts of our body are covered by the clothes and how. Yeah. This has been so much fun. Thank you everybody for coming to the stream. Gonna put the timestamps on after log off so that you can easily find the discussion on the archetype. And I was thinking the next aesthetic to do, after a lot of thinking, I wanted to do magical and ethereal for every quadrant. I wanted to do something that was like more out there. So that's what I'm thinking about. But if you have any like questions, recommendations, or suggestions, you let me know, because I love to hear from you. And yeah, just like if there's anything you want me to talk about, tell me always. And you should like the stream, because it really helps me. And if you're not subscribed, you should subscribe, because the best channel. Okay, so that's the end. We have reached the end here. Let me know if you have questions, thoughts, desires, comments, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye everybody.